What's going on, guys? In this video, we're going to be checking out the brand new Connects Family Guy Series 1 blind bag figures. This was an entire case, just in case you were wondering. And the set, as far as I know, looks like it contains 6 figures. 6. You got Chris, Stewie, Brian, of course, Peter, Meg, and Lois. I didn't quite say that in order. But you can see that the common figures are Chris, Stewie, and Brian. The rare figures are Peter and Lois, and the elite, probably the only time she would ever be called elite, especially from Peter, the elite is Meg. And there's the back of the box. Like I said, we're going to get this completely opened up. We're going to look at an entire case. Well, that's not 100% true. What we normally will do on this channel is we'll check out each of the individual bags, because of course they got a coating on the back, and then I'll kind of tell you how many of each one that you can expect to find per case. So if there's, say, for example, a Meg that you want to get, maybe Meg is 1 per case, maybe Meg is 7 per case. You may never know unless you watch this video. Plug, plug, plug. Again, we're going to get this opened up. This is a new series of released figures. Now, we did actually get Connects Family Guy sets before. We got a station wagon. I think we also got a time machine build set with corresponding figures. And I really hope, while the build sets were cool, I really love, you know how I feel when it comes to these little mini figures, these blind bag figures. I hope Connects, much like the Super Mario property, we get more Family Guy. The fact that we see Series 1 makes me think we get more of these, and I really, really hope so. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. I'm going to grab Hank, I think, to help us with this. And in no particular sequence, you can see that the numbers are 0517149. The underline tells you which number and which bag this is. So for example, underline 5, you'll know right away which figure you're going to be getting in the stores when you see these guys. So let's go ahead and open up bag number 1. And it comes with a little pamphlet. Looks like what we got ourselves is Peter. Peter. And just to clarify that, we'll dump out the contents. That's actually a good way to start. The head of the family, why not start with Peter Griffin as the very first box that we're opening up. Now again, we did get these before. I wish I actually could find where I put my other Family Guy stuff, because I would want to do a comparison. I feel like this guy's got a little bit more panel lining than the original Family Guy Peter did have. He's a portly fellow, but he's certainly likable. Good face sculpt. There we go. The face doesn't quite match coloring to the chest and the arms, but still pretty happy with how it turned out. Articulation. That, waist, legs, arms, hands. Peter Griffin. And I don't think, I'm just going to double check, I want to triple check here, I don't think there are any accessories that come with these. So there's Peter. So Peter was underline 5. Let's see what else we have in here. Underline 1. Okay, so we're going to be having a look at another one here. And I guess some of these could be giveaways in the sense that, you know, if you feel the bag, this one feels like it's a lot smaller pieces than, say, Peter. And what we got for underline 1, once again right there, is Brian. He's made up of 3 components. Really, again, smart on Connects. I mean, they've already produced these figures before with the build sets, but it's smart that they, you know, saw potential in the line and, you know, gave us these just as standalone blind bag figures. Looks pretty good. He's got his little tail there and his dog collar. Here he is next to Peter, so you can see the size differencing between the two. Of course, Peter is a lot bigger, a lot heftier than Brian. I mean, there are really a lot of course, any fan of Family Guy will know there's a rather robust number of characters in the cartoon. That really, they could do so many of these. Let me know down below who you would like to see for a Family Guy character, maybe making up a Series 2 or, dare I say, Series 3, Series 4. That would certainly be fantastic. We have another underline 5, so of course we know that's Peter Griffin. And another Peter Griffin. I would suspect Peter Griffin probably, even though he is, he's not common, he's rare, but I would think you probably get a fair number of him inside the case. Next we have an underline 4, right there. And it again feels, I want to say it feels almost like, what am I doing? Let's just open it up. I could be sitting here guessing this all day long. Again, we got the pamphlet, but I like the surprise end of it. We got ourselves the Elite. The Elite. I'm trying to do it with both quote fingers. I didn't want to drop Meg. Certainly she's been through enough. But we got the Elite Meg. Now the question is, how many Elite Megs are we going to get inside this case? I have to say, once again, pretty impressed with the figures. Little panel outlining around the lips are a nice touch. Again, you got the outlining around the eyes with the glasses. Meg. So she is underlined 4. And, I mean, really, we're only missing 2 figures now. This is an underlined 7. Did we already do 7? I don't suspect we did. Let's get this opened up. And I guess the interesting end of it is the fact that there's 7 numbers. You're not necessarily going to be seeing, as I'm assuming, you're not going to see underlines on all these numbers because there's only 5 characters. But the next one we got was Chris. Good old Chris. Now it looks like they probably reused a lot of Peter to make Chris here, other than the new head sculpt. Now, could you imagine a whole world of build sets just based around Family Guy? That would be a world I would want to live in. Just to give you a comparison here, you can see again, it looks like they've used the same body. Actually, no, that's not true. Peter is a little bit taller than Chris. And it's not by just virtue of his legs. His legs are longer as well, but his torso is also longer too. I stand corrected. I mean, they simply could have just reused the exact same mold. I would have been happy with that as well, but no, they did actually make a brand new mold for young Chris here. The next one we have is underlined 5, which we know is Peter. And which one is this one? This is underlined 0. So we are still missing Lois and Stewie. Herbert would be a fun one to get. Cleveland, of course. Trying to think of some other ones here. Joe, of course. Joe Swanson. Death would be fun. Tribute to Adam West. You could do Mayor Adam West. There's Stewie. I mean, really, even too, if they use just this same body mold, you could give us different expressions on Stewie. You know? So I think there's lots of potential there. And just again, a height difference. There he is next to Chris. There he is next to Dog. Brian. And there he is next to Peter. And lastly, the Elite. There he is next to Meg. Okay. So there we have Stewie. And Stewie was underline 0. Everybody remember that. Underline 0. I'm going to put him actually right in the front here. So now all we are missing is a Lois. So let's have a look here. Underline 0, that's a Stewie. We got another Stewie. This is a Stewie. I'm going to actually move Brian up here because I feel like I'm going to run out of space fast. That's one thing we do not want to have on this during this video. Running out of space. Going to move him right over there. There we go. We have another Stewie. Okay, that's good. And another Stewie. So one thing, at least, if you're ankling for Stewie, at least you're not going to have to try too hard to get him. And there's an underline 7, so there's a Chris. An underline 4. Oh, that was Meg. Just going to put that over there with Meg. So that's 2 Elite Megs. An underline 7. Which one? Oh, that was another Chris. And don't worry, we're going to count these out after we're finished, so you guys can kind of see how many you get of each one. Underline 7 is another Chris. And that is a Stewie. What do we got here? What do we got here? 7. That is a Chris. Still no Lois. There's a Stewie. Another Stewie. I have to say, so far, not much love for Brian. Brian's got 1. 1 so far. And we've got an underline 1, which is the other one, which, if my math is correct, carry the 1. Spanish, orange, yeah. That's the only one that we needed, was Lois. Tear this open. Take out the insert. Dump out the contents. And yes, it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a completed set. Snap that into place, and we'll just plug her head in there. And there we have Lois. She's got very large hands. It looks like, actually, they put the same hand on both sides. See that? See how the thumb is on the top? If I turn the hand this way, it's not quite right. So, I don't know, maybe I might get myself another Lois. Hopefully, and we'll see if she's got the same hand problem. So the completed set now, and don't worry, I'll do comparisons of all the figures after we're finished here, but we got the completed set now. So we have another Lois, and you know what, while we're at it, now that I've got another Lois here, I'm going to cut this one open and see if it's fixed the problem with the hand. And we're just going to double check, going to get all that stuff snapped together. Okay, good. I'll put the head on here. They have fixed the problem with the hand. You can see the thumb is on the top here, thumb is on the bottom. 2 Loises. Okay. So that was one instance where I've actually opened 2 bags, and normally I only would open the 1. We have another Stewie. Still nothing for Brian. Oh! Oh! Speak of the devil. Speak of the devil, we have another Brian. So we'll just move him over here. Just move the blind bags over. Another one for Brian. Another one for Lois. I feel like I'm portioning off food for like a large group of individuals. More mashed potatoes for you. Oh, corn, yes. Okay, there's some corn for you. There's another Lois. And let's see what we got here. There is another Lois. There is Brian's. So we got 3 Brian. And 4 Brian. Maybe now he's going to catch up a little bit. Underline 5. Just was looking around. That is Peter. And we've got another, where is it? Underline 1, which was Brian. There, that's right. Somebody was yelling at me. It's Brian, it's Brian. Underline 7 was Chris. We're almost near the end of it here. Underline 5. Anybody know? Anybody know? Underline 5. That's right. Peter. Let's have a look at this one. Here's underline 1. So we've got Brian. I'm sure I've said underline a lot in this video. Let's see if we can mix that up a little bit. Okay, so the first one is Brian. Another Brian. And we got a 7. Which one was 7 again? Oh, 7 was Chris. So quickly I forget. We have another Brian. And like I said, we're gonna tally these all up, then we're gonna look at all the figures again, so you guys can get a good idea of what they look like. We have another Meg. We have about 5 bags left. An underline 7, which was Chris. And let me know down below, guys, fellas, ladies, small animals that have learned the ability to search the web. Let me know down below who you'd like to see for a future wave as we look at the rest of these figures here. And we've got another Chris. 2 more. Oh, actually 3 more. And the last 3 go to, let's have a look here. We got a Chris, we got a Brian, and the last one is another Chris. Okay, so let's tally these up and see how many we get in Well, these are how many I got in this case, and I'm assuming that the cases are probably about the same sort of ratio of pieces. It does look like Meg did get the least. Counting the one that we opened, she only technically got 3. So we got 2 plus the one we opened. So 3 for Meg. And I think, if I'm just kind of looking around, Lois had the next least amount, as she had 1, 2, 3, 4, plus the 2 that we opened. So that's 6. 6 for Lois. And I think Peter might have actually got the next least amount, as he got 1, 2, 3, 4, open this one, 5, 6. So 6 for Peter and Lois. And I think the next one might be Stewie. We're just going to grab all these bags and count these out. So for Stewie, he had 1, 2, 3 we opened, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for Stewie. Brian and Chris, that might be the close one. For Brian, we had 1, 2, 3. We had 4, 5, 6, 7 that we opened, 8, 9, 10, 11 for Brian. And let's see how many we got for Chris. Chris, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, which works out to be a tie. So let's get another gander once again at our figures that we got inside the set here. Bring them all in. 2 Loises, we can just pretend one is a clone. An evil clone. Is there such a thing as a good clone? I guess there is. So let's first start once again with Peter Griffin. Just like looking at the set, I'm thinking my favorite might be Stewie actually, but I think Peter turned out quite good. And maybe potentially down the road they can give like little accessories that they can have holding. For example, like a brew or something for Peter. I'm trying to think of other things you could give him. I mean, Stewie has a lot more things you could probably give him for ideas. So there's Peter. There's Lois with the corrected hand. See if I can actually, probably won't be able to hold all of these. There's Chris. I like Chris quite a bit too. He's very cartoon accurate. Actually, all these are pretty cartoon accurate. Maybe Lois might be a little less, but I think all of them are still pretty close. And then we also had of the kids. We had Lois, Meg, and Chris. And then we also had Stewie. Stewie being the shortest of the 3. And probably the smartest, I would imagine, as well. I think that's a pretty safe bet. And then lastly, we had ourselves Stewie and Brian. Friends to the end. So you kill one of them and then decide later we want to bring them back. But really fun little figures. Always a big fan, of course, of the Connect stuff. Generally on this channel you see me opening up the Plants vs. Zombies or the Super Mario. But definitely wanted to have a look at these as well. Love Family Guy. Absolutely love these figures as well. Today, once again, guys, girls, animals, we were having a look today at the Connects, brand new Connects, Series 1 Family Guy figures. We looked at an entire case. And as you can see, there's still actually a fair bit of figures that you get for quantities you get for each figure. So even like the rare Elite Meg right there, at least we got a good number of those as well. So if you're looking to find these for yourselves, hopefully these little underlines that I was pointing out to you guys will help you on your travels and hunts to pick these up for yourself. If you guys like videos like this, certainly check out more of the Connects unboxings, as I have a playlist on this channel right here, Bunko, where I have a look at all the other Connects build sets, and generally they're always cases, so if you guys like long videos like this one here, for example, you can go back and check out my previous Super Mario brother ones. Also done again some Plants vs. Zombies. Fun stuff coming to us from the folks over at Connects. Building worlds kids love. At least that used to be their mascot, their logo. I don't know if it's still... Do they still say that? Building worlds kids love. Maybe they changed that. I don't know. But today, once again, we're having a look at the Connects Family Guy Series 1 blind bag figures. As always, guys, thanks for watching as you always do. I'll see you next time.